Welcome to BackPackTrack, the solo travel podcast for people who think one backpack is a lifestyle. Today, I would like to talk about my biggest learning while traveling. Like, literally, the biggest life lesson I've learned. And it's nothing about, I need to find myself or this typical thing what you would say after traveling solo for quite a while. No. My personal, I mean, yeah, it's personal. My personal lesson is that nothing needs to last forever. And you might think, yeah, that's obvious, right? That's pretty shallow. Is this all what you got? No, hear me out. I personally think that we all were raised basically that we have to follow one path. I mean, we all basically supposed to finish school, maybe go to university, start working, building a family, and that's pretty much it. I think we should all follow this path because everyone is doing it, and that's the case. And also, when it comes to career, I mean, I think we've been all there. So you finish school, and then it's like the big question, what am I gonna do with my life? So, will I start university? Then there is the thing, what should I study? And with work, if I want to do like an apprenticeship, what do I want to do? And I have the feeling that you have to follow this one path and you have to make the right decision right away, and then you just follow this path forever. It has to stay forever. And don't get me wrong, like, I know a lot of people back home who are actually kind of unhappy. Let's phrase it like that. It's kind of like an under exaggeration. So they don't like their job. But instead of changing something, they stick with it because they're like, yeah, I've been doing it all my life. Why should I stop doing it now? Why should I start learning something new? No, I'm too old for this. All this bullshit. And I felt like this for a long time too. So when I finished university, or better said, school, I knew I wanted to go to university. I wanted to become a veterinarian. And it turned out my grades were too bad. So I have had a few options, but none of them were like literally my go-to. I was a little bit of overwhelmed by the options. And in my head, there was still this thing, you need to choose the right thing. You cannot fail. You're not allowed to try more things because you need to settle. You need to get your shit together. And so I ended up studying something what I wouldn't study again. I'm totally honest here. And it was also not plan A. No, it was more like plan D. So I stick with that. And then, yeah, I have this mindset. I had it with everything. So the friends you choose, or when it comes to choosing a partner, I never saw small little steps. No, I always had the end goal of this needs to be forever. And first of all, that puts a lot of pressure on yourself. Second of all, you kind of idealize everything. For example, the job, you don't listen to your body, you don't listen to your gut feeling. You're just like, yeah, it's not that bad, and the pay is good, something like that. And the same, I'd say, is for relationships in general. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's like a partner or friends, family. I had literally the problem that I was always thinking, oh my gosh, this needs to be forever. And once I started traveling, I realized no, it's okay if it's just meant to be for a certain amount of time, maybe for a season. And I started thinking more like in little chapters of, let's say, a series or a book. It doesn't matter, but I like series more. So, all right. So, season one, season two, something like that. And yeah, I met also so many people and incredible people, actually, like very inspiring, super nice, and just people you want to be surrounded by. So, yeah, I try to stay in contact with everyone at the beginning. So, you always exchange numbers or Instagram or social media, whatever. And then I tried, yeah, to keep the contact with everybody. And I realized, first of all, it's very exhausting. Not gonna lie. And second of all, the response was like, meh, so. Some people responded within like a week, some never respond, whatever. And then I realized actually that's normal because they're living their own life. They have their own problems. They have their own daily dose of, I don't know, work, travel, anything. And I started to see, oh yeah, it was a nice time. We spent a phenomenal time for maybe like, let's say, sometimes it was even just for a few hours, a few days, a few weeks. It doesn't matter. It was just a chapter. And it was very hard to accept that, actually. For me, it was incredibly hard because I always want to keep people close to me and that I have like connections, that you have like good shared experiences, that you're just friends. But yeah, if you think about it, it's stupid to think that everyone will stay forever until you die, because then in the end I think you would have a lot of people in your circle, and it's very unrealistic, right? So that was actually my biggest life lesson I've had to learn. For me, it was also actually really hard to leave friends and family behind. And I was just, I wouldn't say selfish, but it was just my vision to travel the world and continue traveling and having this lifestyle where you just go from one place to another and you see how it goes. And of course, even there, I realized, even though I know some people for all my life, it's hard to keep the contact as regular as when you're at home because you're living a different life. And it's hard to accept, and it took a while, but I say, thanks to traveling, I managed that. And I also see things a little bit more chilled, more easy. So, regarding my job, like, my occupation has literally nothing to do with what I'm doing now. And it's fun. And I realized there is no one right thing or no only one option, and you have to stick with it. And it's scary, of course, especially when you're getting older. I understand this, that you're afraid of, that you cannot like keep the pace with the younger people or whatever. But on the other side, it's worth a try, and it's not the end of the world if it's not fitting or if it's not working out. I think if you or if you stick with something forever just because you're taught so or if you used to do so, it puts a lot of pressure, because for everything in your life you need to make the right decision. And that's extremely hard because there is no, like, I don't know, no glass bowl where you can look into the future. No. Or there's also not a rewind button. Like, no. You live once, and in the present right now, and you have to make the choice right now, and you don't know how you feel in 5 years, right? How would you? So that's why I'm saying, for me, it was the biggest lesson I've learned, that some things don't need to last forever. And I mean, of course, it's sad for friendships. It's also sad for, I'd say, if you're searching for a partner. We probably all crave these attention or like a soulmate. And this is the point. I was always thinking this needs to be the one and only. And realistically speaking, that's stupid, because then you project a lot of things in the other person, even though they can't even handle that, or it's really unfair just to them, obviously, because you have so many expectations you put on them, and if they don't, like, if they're not fulfilling them, then you're disappointed, which is stupid. And I mean, maybe I will do another episode about that, because love and finding a partner while traveling solo is like a different topic. And yeah. But yeah, anyways, back to the point. What I like to say is that if you start seeing things in small little chapters, it takes away the pressure on yourself, or the pressure that you have to perform well, or that you have to succeed in something. I mean, life is actually meant to be to make mistakes, to try things, and not always think about, like, yeah, this is the one and only thing, I have to stick with it forever. I mean, maybe a good example could be like buying a car. And of course, you think about it a lot because it's an expensive investment. But with a car, you also think this doesn't need to last forever, because no car, okay, maybe there are some exceptions. I don't know much about cars, but usually cars will not last your whole life. And we don't put as much pressure on it as we do on choosing our partner, choosing our friends, and choosing our occupation. There are so many things you can do. And yeah, traveling just helped me to see, yeah, some people, some things, some jobs, or everything in general in life. Not everything is meant to stay forever, not until I die. Maybe it's just a small little chapter. Maybe it's season 4. I don't know. So, I hope maybe because of this episode, you can see it a little bit more chilled, a little bit more flexible. And don't be too harsh on yourself, because, yeah, I know the feeling that you think you have to make the right decision no matter what. But it's okay to fail. And it's also okay to change your mind. God damn. So, yeah. My biggest life lesson, what traveling taught me, is not everything is meant to last forever. And with that being said, thanks for listening, and see you next week.